Okay, so when I open up a share file here real quick with you all, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again and open that up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open up File Explorer, and I'm just going to go into where I've got my files being saved right now, so you can kind of see what's going on here. So right here are a series of Revit files, and they're this section right here. Okay. Now, if you look at these, there's several that have the same exact name. There's B-Day House, that's tomorrow's. Then I've got these other houses that are going on. Notice there's numbers behind them. Those are your backup files. You should not be opening those up. You need to open the one that doesn't have a number. So if there's not a number, that's the house you should be opening. If you're opening these up that have numbers, you're redoing work you've already done because they only save every 20 minutes. So you're undoing yourself by doing that. So make sure you're opening the one without a number. These numbers are backups. When we get to the end of next week, you'll have numbers like in the 30s with all the backups we make. So make sure you're opening the one that doesn't have a backup number. Okay, so this is the original version. This is version 1, version 2 of the saves. These are backup file saves. Does that make sense to everybody? We want to make sure you're using the right file. Okay. Now, for those of you who have the wrong templates, the only way I can fix that for you easily is to tell you to do this. Once you have the template file found, I got to figure out where, who's what, when, and where. Okay, now what we've got here then is if we're working on our file and we need everything to be so we can see what's going on. When you get it saved into your drive, and Bobby, did you find where to save that, your M drive with your student number? That's where you're saving it to. Okay, I'm going to leave this for just a minute. If you are one of those that have not used the right template, you don't have the right walls, will you do this for me? Will you just type in your name, it's me, in the chat so I know which of you I need to work with? Cool. All right, 2 down, 2 fixed. Okay, so Bobby and Adrian, here's what you need to do. Once you have that correct template, I'm gonna start a brand new file and walk you through this. And so you're gonna want to do the same thing. Close your house plan that you're in right now, both of you. The rest of you, this is a good review for you anyway. Get ready to think about what doors you want and where. We're gonna do doors really quick after this. Okay, so you two have your house closed. You just hit the X. You're still in Revit. We then go up to the big R, or the file. Right here, we're gonna do new, file new. This is where it all takes place. If you're in this Imperial Construction template, you're gonna be way off base. So you need to browse and you need to go to where the GTI Architecture 24 by 36 file is saved. Wherever you've saved it, that's where you're going, because you need to start with that file. Okay, so you click on that, and I lost my chat room again, so let me know if you're seeing that. Okay, then you hit open, and that's where you start your project. So when I open that up, it's gonna be a brand new file. It's gonna take a minute to convert over. And get updated. I'm not updating because I'm now bringing it up to a newer version. So it's gonna take just a minute for that to happen. You will have to do this every year that Revit updates. You have to update your template files. And so that's really what's happening right now is I'm just updating a template file. The rest of you should be definitely done with your walls when this is done. So hopefully that's the case, that you have all your walls drawn, because it's gonna take just a minute. And then I'll come back and we'll throw doors in. We probably won't get to windows today, but I'll show you how to put a door in and you can start putting doors in. That's why it's going slow, which is why we do this in week 2 or one actually, two. Okay, so that's gonna open up here. It's gonna take it just a minute more to go, hopefully. It's probably gonna take longer because we're in Zoom and I'm streaming all this. Okay, there it is. So it's loading in. I have a blank screen. It has the temp title block. So Adrian and Bobby, this is what you're gonna do. When you get this open, you're gonna go to the main floor, first floor plan. Just right up to view plans, double click on floor. And now you've got the blank sheet. And now you've got to bring in your Revit file that you've been working on into this sheet so you have all the walls. So that means you're gonna go to Insert, in your new file. You're gonna link Revit. So I find the file that I want to bring in. I select that, hit open, because I've already got right in there. Sorry, I used the one I was in. Link, I'll do another one. Bring in the file you were working on. That's why I had to close it, and place that in there, and then just hit close. Okay, just hit close on that, and that will bring it in. And then once that's in, select it and bind it to the file. Okay, when you bind it in there, you want to make sure you do all the levels. This is a lot of work and then hit OK. So that's 10 megabytes right there, just in that changeover. Okay, and now you should have your file. And now select it one more time. Oh, please. And you're gonna hit finish. And it should be, oh man, it's still not there all the way, is it? When you select it, it's all one thing now. This is the third click on it. Then you need to ungroup it. It's a lot of work when you don't get the right template to start with. Then you have to ungroup it. That's why I've been posting all the videos. Okay, now I've got individual walls that I can go through and change and make work. Okay, so it's a lot of steps to go through on there for you too. If you're struggling with it, hang out after class for just a minute. We'll go from there. Okay. All right. Let's go back to get you guys doing. Sorry about the chimes. Let's get our doors going. All right. So when we're putting doors, let's start with interior, and we'll get working on those. I'm going to start with this corner here because that's where I've been, and we're going to go ahead and do a door. Now your doors are already loaded, at least the ones to start with. We'll modify those a little bit later as we get going, but we're going to go to Architecture tab. Then we select the door icon. It's right next to walls. And then we can go in here and see what wall doors you have. Now, if you're looking at these fancier doors, like this one's a panel door, right now there is only a 36-inch wide door for that. And it's 7 feet tall instead of 6'8". Okay, we're going to talk about that. That's mainly for the commercial Architecture 3 class, but you might like that and you want to use that. You should also have some single raised panel doors that have their colonial style door. And again, the 80-inch ones are the 6'8". That's residential. 84 is commercial. So that's why I keep those separate there. So this is a 2'6". So think about 30 inches. So 24 inches plus 6 inches is 30 inches, all the way up to 36. These are your standard door sizes. So for this room right here, I would like to use a 32-inch 6'8" door. And if you notice, I left that one out, and I left it out on purpose so you know how to change it, okay? So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to take this door, this nice, pretty colonial door. And actually, I'm not going to use this one because if I look at the title here, these are exterior doors. So let's put the exterior door in then, since I'm here and I got you all to this point. My exterior door is going to go right here on this house plan. The code, if you remember me talking about, requires that at least one door of the house on the exterior is 36 inches wide. Well, I've got those two in here, and I can go wider. You can actually go up to 4 feet wide on a door. The problem is that door becomes very, very heavy. So I'm going to go with the 36-inch, 80-inch door here for my front door. If you don't like this door, you can use the single panel door here or the single flush doors. I probably wouldn't put a glass door on your front of your house. That's more of a commercial sliding door for those automatic door openers. So I'm gonna go ahead and select that 3680 and then bring that over to my walls where I want that to go. And I need to place it in the wall. Okay, so it's got to go into the wall where I'm going to go. This is not my right plan. Oh well, it'll work. So I'm going to place that in the wall where I want it. And then click it right there. And that's going to come with usually come with a warning that you're not cutting things, or if you are cutting things, you can delete those instances so it does cut through. And reason this one gives that warning is I'm actually building a wall with a window, a door, and another wall with a window when I put this door in. Okay, so it's a little bit of a messier way to go. And this is definitely not where I want. I want to be over here. There's my walls. Okay, so I'm going to pop that in again for you one more time. So I choose the door that I want for my exterior. In this case, I'm going to use the side lights. That means side lights are glass or windows. And I'm going to go ahead and do a 36-inch 80. I come to the wall where I want that to be, and I simply click on that, delete those instances, and place that wall in. It's having a hard time with the 2D lines underneath it, but I'm going to leave them there for a while still. Now, you can still adjust this door once you place it. I use my modify tool. I can see that I actually got that centered pretty well, so I don't need to make any adjustments there. But you can flip which way the door opens. And remember, residential doors always open into a space. Residential door or commercial doors, excuse me. So if it's a house, it goes in. If it's a commercial, for the Architecture 3 students, it's going to go outside. It flips around and swings out. So commercial doors always swing out. Residential doors always swing in as we get that put into place. Okay. Wow. Now, the next thing I want to put in is, so there's my exterior door. Some of your houses will have a back door that you want to put in. Some will have sliding glass doors that you want to put in there, all of which we'll get to, and you get to make decisions on that as you do that, so it's your choice. And then put in these bedroom doors next. I do closets typically last. It kind of works good for me that way because I tend to change my mind once in a while. So I'm back in my door. I choose my door selection button here. And I'm now going to look at using these single flush doors. They're not as fancy. If you would like, I'll show you later how to fancy them up and make them a little fancier. It takes a little bit more work, but we'll do that probably close to midterm when we're finishing out. So in these single flush doors, this is where I was going to take you and we didn't get there. I want to go with a 2'8" door. So I need to figure out how many inches are 2'8". So that's 24 for 2 inches. Add 8 to it. What do I then get? Should be 32, right? Would you agree with 32 for 2'8"? If 2'6" is 30, then 2'8" is 32. Now, here in these single flush, again, I don't have a 32-inch 80 door. So this is where I want to spend a little bit of time with you, because the doors you have, you can modify for everything you're going to do, okay? So I click on the 3248, and I lost my door. There it is. And then they go to edit type, okay, just like we did with the walls. We then do this a lot. This is a very big part of what Revit does. Now, when I get that window up, and I'm going to put you guys in the bottom, I guess, for a minute. I'm not sure where to put all these faces. And still get this chat room. Yes, 32. Look at you guys. 32, 32, 32. Excellent. Now, I'm going to go in, and I don't have to go into structures. I'm working with heights. And again, because I'm dealing with an existing door, I start with a duplicate. And I'm going to change out the last one. The 2 means it's a copy, so I'm going to take that out. I'm going to change the 84 to 80. And then they hit OK. And then they come down into the dimensions. And I know I've got the door's 2 inches thick. Right here it says it's 7 foot tall. That's what I want to change on this door. Because it's going to be a residential, I'm going to change it from 7 foot to 6 foot 8 inches. And that matches my 80 inches situation. Then I've got a 1 inch of trim and a bigger trim, a 3-inch trim around the outside, and my door width is 2 foot 8. So that matches a 32. So all I did was change the height from 7 feet to 6 foot 8. Then I hit OK. And I now have in my doors a new door to pick from. So you can add it. Remember, the width of the door is every 2 inches. So if you need a 2 foot 4 door, okay, then you need to make a 28-inch wide door. They're always in 2 foot increments. So you can make any door you need and make them so they customize your house. But now I have my 2 foot 8 door for my bedrooms. So I can bring that door in, and I want it to come into the room. If I hit my space key, I can flip that around. The space key lets me toggle the direction, and I put that into the space. And while I've got that, I'm going to do the next one right beside it into the next bedroom. Okay, now I'm going to go in and then fine tune these doors a little bit. So when I'm looking at the door here, I'm going to do my modify. And I should be saving my work, and I'm not. I should do that. When I click on the door, I have to have between the corner and the door at least 4 inches. Does that mean that 6.5 inches is wrong? No, but it can't be less than 4. So if you want to be exact with that, you can come in and change that value, make it 4, and that will shift the door over. What that does is allows a room for a light socket, light switch, to be here right beside the door. It also allows enough room for the framing on this side of the door. Then do the same on this side. Change the distance from the corner. And I just highlight that out. Change it to 4 inches and hit enter. Okay, and then I'm going to do that on each of my doors. Now you can go around and figure out where each door goes. Make doors as you want. So you do the same thing. If I need a smaller door for this closet, I only want a 2 foot 4 door, a 2 foot 6 door, you can make that door. I want you to make the door, make mistakes on it. Okay. I'm going to talk about this closet door here real quick for you. If I go into my door tool again and I download, this is going to be really important. So please kind of all watch this. Closet doors are a little tricky. So far, everything we've done has been in the template. So if I scroll down and look through all the doors, I have these sliding closet doors in here for you, and they're fine. You can use those. But if there's a different door you want, there's another place to find things. And I want to spend just a minute on that. So if you want one of these doors, fine. You might even go like a 5 foot, whoops, a little bit different one there. A 5 foot wide door that would plug in just like so. And you'd have the bypass closet doors that many of you have. Okay, that's a pretty easy plug-in. If you want a different type of door, there's others out there. So we then go door, edit type, And this time I'm going to go up here to the top right corner. It says load. And this is going to be really, really important for you guys because every component outside of walls has a load option. When I click on load, it's going to take me into the English Imperial Library. It's large. That's the one that comes with your software. This is not the shared one. This is a smaller one. If you scroll down to doors and open that up, it's broken into commercial doors. There's hardware like latches and knobs and stuff, and residential doors. And then it has a bunch of specialty doors. And these are all specialty doors. Let's go into residential so we're all on the same page real quick. Now, you look at the doors at first, you're going, well, I don't really see what I want. Well, if you click on the door, it'll give you a picture so you can see what it looks like. And maybe you don't want the door that I just put in my front. You want to change it out to something else. There's your own individual side light. There's a little more of a country style door. So there's your exterior doors that you can toggle through. This is a exterior French door, a glass door, if you will. Side lights, different windows. There's a garage door. There's a different style garage door, so it depends on which way you like that to look. This is an interior French door, like between a parlor or a master bedroom and a sitting room, or master bedroom and a master bath. There are pocket doors in there. There's a sliding door. So just like we just did on the closet. Vertical paneling. So you can just kind of scroll through and you can find all these different styles of doors that you can use in your house. What you're not seeing is the bifold door, the one we talked about being in your closets open all the way up. And that's probably one you're looking for. So here's the library. And again, you get there by going to the load button and then going into the folder to load it into your template. Once it's in your template, it's always there. So now I need to show you where the other one is, okay? And we're doing pretty good, so we're making it. So I'm gonna cancel out here for just a minute. I'm gonna bring up the course, your course, actually, Architecture 1, same in Architecture 2 and Architecture 3. I've done a couple of things last night for you to help, because I know some of you are struggling on keeping up with my style of teaching and how I do demos. And some of you are at home, and then I've got about 8 people who have not even logged into the course yet, which is a little scary. On your home page, and some of you may have noticed this, not only is there a link to get into the Zoom meetings every day, but down here, this is new. I've given you Revit training videos by topic, and if you want to just read the captions, I've given you them in captions. So when you open up these videos, again, it's going to go to my Google Drive. You're welcome to download them. They're large. I wouldn't do that. But let's say you want to do something about doors, since we're doing doors. Here's the video on doors and windows. Get that back up again. Someone just clicked in there on me. Okay, so there's my door and window. If I want to look at how to place doors, I can just click on that video, do a little double click, and it will load, and you can play that video, and you can see it's in 8 minutes what we just talked about. Okay, so those are there for you. So if you want to start bringing headphones to class, that's a fine thing to do so that you can watch through these. They're shorter than ones I'm making for you because I'm doing a lot more explanation for code and so forth. But these are just on how to use Revit, and they might help you look better. So hopefully that's helpful to you. Back in the course again, and then go into the supplemental resources right here. I think it's also student resources in Architecture 2 and Architecture 3. When I go into this area, I think, yeah, okay, when it gets in there, it went right, it was good. I was scared for a minute. Revit components. This is also my Google Drive. If you click on here and then you open up that link. These you can download, and I'm going to go through that right now with you on how to do that. These are not sorted out. I haven't had time to organize them. As the semester goes along, they will, but you can cut, they're named so you can kind of find what you're looking for. So for instance, just give you an idea, there's a patio door, 2-panel patio door there. As you read the names, they're pretty self-explanatory overall. But what I want to find is bifold, and they are alphabetical. So I'm looking for B. There's a bifold panel door right here. There's actually 2 of them. So I'm going to go ahead and download one of them in order to use it. So then download it. It's going to go to my downloads folder. Actually, it's not. I'm going to put it in my downloads folder though, so I can find it. And then they go back to Revit. So you download it, know where it goes, open Revit back up, and then open my library. So I'm still going to come into edit, my edit type, load the library, and then open the doors library, then open the residential library, and then I'm going to open my Explorer, my file Explorer. I'm going to go to my downloads where it downloaded to. There's my bifold. And this is how easy it is to add to your template. I'm going to drag that component from here into here. It doesn't matter where you put it. Then drop it in there. And now I have a bifold door that I can use. So when I put that in there and I open that up, it's going to upgrade it, okay? So this is how you keep your templates current, is you reload things and upgrade them. And there's my bifold door is now loaded. This one happens to be only a 2'6" in width. That works for me right now for what I'm doing. So I'm gonna hit OK. And I'm gonna bring this door to the wall and I'm gonna put it right here for my linen closet. Now, if I'm doing this closet over here, I'm gonna put it right here just so you see it. I can put one there and then put the other one over here, and those will now be that closet. Now it's a little awkward to do it this way. The other one is a double. These are a single, but you can put your bifold doors in like this. You can use them for your linen closet. And you go, but I want it wider. Well, you can. Let me just do a quick fix here. I'm gonna take that one out. I'm gonna edit this one, edit type. Right now that's only a 30-inch wide door. So maybe I want to go, oh, we'll just pick a bigger one. Let's go with the 36. So I change the size. Without making a new one, I can just choose a new size. I can hit OK, and it updates. And so I can get another door. So those components are there for you as well, that you can use. If I'm going to use this for the closet, because that's now a 36, that's a 6-foot wide door, I'm going to slide this one over to here. I want the same thing on the other side. I'm going to use a mirror option. So I'm going to select, first I'm going to select my door, and then use the mirror, and then go from this end point of the wall, go a line straight up, and now I have a bifold door that's 6 feet wide. This one's 3, this one's 3. It opens up my wall, and I'm ready to go for my closet. Really slick, really quick. So you have the bypass and you have the bifolds, okay? That's how doors work, okay? Now that's a lot to cover, but we have a lot of doors to put in. So let's take a look at where we're gonna find all these doors from, these door sizes. So this is stuff to maybe we need to talk about. So if I'm doing a closet, a bedroom door, I usually use those 2 foot 8 inches for my bedrooms. That can be changed. I mean, if you want to do something different, you can, but 2 foot 8 is typically what I do. And again, those are always, for what we're doing in here, 6 foot 8. Can you get taller doors? Absolutely. You just have to pay more for them, okay? So my bedroom doors are 2 foot 8. Bathroom doors, not right. So I usually go 30 inches or 2 foot 6. and again 6'8". Okay. Now you can, again, if you want to go wider, that's fine. In the master bathroom, sometimes I'll end up with French doors in there. It just depends what the client wants. You need one door, an entry door. And that has to be 3 feet. You have to have one that's 3 feet. Then you can do your back doors, can be whatever you want. So your other doors, they can be 30 inches. They could be sliding glass doors. Sliding glass doors don't get, their maximum width on a sliding glass door is 5 feet. And that's for both sides of that glass door, just so you know that. And then doors are always, again, in 2-inch increments. So 2 inches at a time. And you can make any door you want with that. So you could put a swinging door here. It doesn't have to be a bypass. It doesn't have to be a folding door. You get to determine how you do your doors. What you do is up to you on that, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and erase this out, but bedroom's 2'8". You can go down to 2'6" door in a bedroom. That's what probably your folks have in their house. I think it's a little tight with moving furniture, but if you can, do the 2'8". If not, do 2'6", okay? All right, now we gotta go through and finish our wonderful laying out of our walls, okay? And doing our doors. So what I want to do is, you guys have, it's now 12:40. You have 55 minutes that you can be putting your doors in and finishing up your walls and finishing out where everything's gonna go. So I didn't want to take too much time. Windows, let's just show you window real quick. Windows are done the same way. They're almost exactly like it. In fact, if you have a glass door, it really is a window. It just starts at the floor. Windows are a little trickier, but we'll cover it up. You do have several to choose from in here. So this is we'll talk about the types next time, but you want to pick ones you like. Here's a double hung window. I'm gonna go with a 30-inch by 46-inch. And I'm gonna place that in my exterior wall. They need to look at which way that's positioned. So you want to pick on the inside wall where you're putting those windows, not the outside. So they want to go on the inside. And I'll just place this one here and then I'm going to talk about it. Take a minute to get it. So it will cut through the brick and make everything look good. I'm going to go ahead and click on that window, and you put them in just the way you want. There's no code as to how close to the corner they are. If you do something like this, where you have a window there, and then you do another window, let's do a window right to the side like this, you can do that, but you do have to engineer this corner. It has to be engineered to support the weight of the building, because the corners are where most of the weight goes. As a general rule, if you put your windows away from the corners by at least a foot, then you're going to be a little bit more successful in engineering wise. It just makes the building a little stronger. But you can put them up in the corner, but you do have to have special engineering for that. So let's go ahead and I'm going to select this and go into properties on it, which is edit type. And so you can see what's going on there. Again, everything you're going to look at is down here in the dimensions. The width is 2'6", the height is 3'10", rough opening. And over here in the properties, the sill height. The sill height is the distance from the floor. So here are the code issues for windows. So take some notes. Your window in a bedroom cannot be more than 42 inches off the floor. Okay, that's 3'6" in case you're wondering. So what that means is that a 5-year-old can push a chair up to the window, climb up on the chair, and then climb out the window. That's the intent, and that's in case of fire. You can go closer to the floor than 42 inches, which is why we see 3 feet as the default, but you cannot do more than 42 inches. The window opening So if I look at this width, this is a single, or this is a double hung window. It's the same symbol for a single hung window, and we'll talk about types next time. That tells me that this window opens 30 inches and half of the height. Okay, so half of the height, that's gonna be 1'6" plus 5, that's 2'1". Okay, so that's the amount of my window that is open. So I've got 2'1", and then multiply that by the width of 30. So that's 25 times 30 is what I'm multiplying there. You can't right now, Grant. The AutoCAD has to stay there for right now. So yeah, you can't delete those right now. I'll show you how to do that later, but you need to leave it for the time being. Just draw over the top of it. So if I take 25 inches times 30 inches, I'm left with 750 inches, which gives me only 62.5 square inches. Does not work for fire egress. Okay. You have to have, for a bedroom window, the open portion must be equal to 5.7 square feet. Okay, 5.7 square feet. It has to open that way or it will not pass inspection. That means your window needs to have a width of 4 feet. So I need a 4-foot wide window in a bedroom and a 3-foot tall window minimum. Okay, so bedroom windows, 4-foot wide by 3-foot tall. What that gives you is a 2 times 3, gives you 6 square feet of open window, which exceeds the 5.7. So just make that little note. Bedroom windows have to be greater than or equal to 4-foot wide and 3-foot tall, and you'll be good. And then windows can be anywhere you want. You can just have fun putting windows in anywhere you want. Okay. Now, Grant had a question. He can't get rid of his AutoCAD file. Here's what you have to do that, Grant. You have to have some part where you can see the green. So once you've put a door in, you can see the one below. The challenge is to be able to select that. So if you put your cursor where you can see those lines, and if you hit your tab key, it will toggle through, but the problem is you can't see when you select it. So let me zoom out. If I put my cursor there and I tab once, that's the walls, twice, another wall, 3 times, that's the AutoCAD file. Because I can see the blue line now around it, then you can delete it. And you just hit the delete key, hopefully it'll go, and you can get it. It's a little tricky to do. What we're gonna do is we'll later take them out by flipping the house over. It's a little easier to get to them, but that's what you would do is tab, 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 and once you get that 3rd tab in there, select, and then delete. Now remember, it won't delete if it's pinned. You've got to unpin it before you can delete it, and then it can go away, and it goes really quick. But that's the trick to it. Okay. Yeah, it does. It gets in the road. And I agree. I thought about that. So he's probably getting where it's throwing things off a little bit. So, all right, the rest of the time is yours, guys. Finish your walls. Start putting doors and windows in. Don't beat yourself up. I want you to make mistakes. And now the big coup d'etat. I'm not putting a grade in for the doors and walls till next week, but some of you have been asking, how do I save it to show you that I've done it? Okay, this is what you have to do. Get your image on the, oh, this is gonna be so complicated. That's okay. Yeah, put your image on the screen. You can do a screenshot of your computer. On your keyboard is a key that's called print screen. That's PRT space SC. If you hit that key, it's going to want to save it to OneDrive. I don't know why. I do not like Microsoft anymore. Just hit close that out. You want to open up a Word document because that's what works best with Microsoft. And once that opens up, if you press that print screen key and you get your document open, once that file is opened, if you right click and do a paste, whatever was on your screen is now on your paper. And if you're wondering about last week and trying to verify that you've done the work, that's what you'll submit for right now. When I have you submit for doors and windows, we'll then do it a little bit different than that. Okay, but that will work for right now. It's just a print screen that says this is what I've got done. Okay, and if you have questions, please ask. Okay, so while you guys are working, I'll be here in the chat answering questions. Go ahead and place your doors. Have fun with that. It's kind of a fun thing to do. I'm trying to remember which. Okay, we're good. And again, if you have questions, by all means, let's ask. If you need to use your mic, we can do that too. It sometimes is a little easier. But again, you need to have your, and if you don't have all your walls, you want to put some doors in, you can do that. You don't have to do it all at once. I like to do one thing at a time. It helps it go a little faster. And so it gets to where I want it to be. And so eventually what we want to do is get to this point. I think this one's done. So that you have your doors and windows in place where you're wanting them. We'll be putting in your showers and water closets here shortly, so you can get those all placed. But just kind of get your doors in there where you think they need to go. As you're working, if you want to put some fancy French doors in, I'll go ahead and do a fancy French door. Let's see, fancy French doors. And so I don't find what I want. I used to have to go create one. Sometimes you can get caught up in finding things you want. I will show you another place you can go next week. But I'm just going to go here into my library. And I'm going to look for that residential. And again, it's okay to look at the previews and see if it's what you want. And I want to. And that's kind of fine. And then you can place your doors where you want them to be. So it makes it nice and fancy. So this is the one I'll go with here. So pick my door. And this gives us slow out. And again, you want to try and center it in spaces if you can, if that's your intent. Kind of makes balancing the room a little better. Some people are not into symmetry, and that's fine. It doesn't have to be symmetrical. In fact, it's sometimes better if it's not. Nothing in nature is symmetrical. So keep that in mind when people talk about pretty people being symmetrical. There is not a symmetrical flower in all of Earth's history. So they're always an odd number. They're always off balanced. Works out good. All right, questions. If you have them, if you need to, you can always go up to my desk as well. Sometimes that mic works a little better without quite as much feedback, and that would be just fine. Lower your walls. Okay, this is Caleb to lower his walls. Are yours going 20 feet tall, Caleb? Is that what's happened? So let me jump into a 3D mode, and maybe I can mimic that just a little bit. See if we're at. Okay, so here's the easy, or I guess it's the hard way, either way. It just guys depends on where you're at. Go into your 3D view, and I gotta get rid of this roof that is no longer being used. And I'm gonna, first I need to create some situation here so it matches. And so it's gonna take me just a minute to reproduce what you have. And what I'm gonna do is I'm hoping to unconstrain them. And I think I just did all of my walls. I think I did, yeah. Okay, so now these walls are unconnected, and you have one that's 20 feet tall. Or maybe they're all 20 feet tall, I don't know. So it looks weird, right? Okay, so the easiest way to fix these is when you have a wall that's large, if you go into your 2D, or into 3D, where you can see them, you want to select the wall, and then over on your properties panel, the very, very easiest thing to do is where it says top constraint, And I want you, there's constraints on the bottom as well. It's tied to the first floor and it's 0 offset. If I change that 0 offset, you can really do some damage to a wall. And this is what we're going to do at the garage eventually. Maybe go up 5 feet from the bottom. Your wall is now floating. So that bottom constraint is really important. And we're going to go over this again later. But so I want that to be 0. But that also has top constraints. And the one thing you should do is at this point constrain it to go up to, that's up to second floor. And if you apply that, then it will go to where it's supposed to be. And that's the easiest way to do it. But you do have to select every wall. Now to do every wall, if you want, you can do it in 2D as well. So you can just go through, hold your control key down and select, do exterior walls first and then do interior walls or vice versa. And then you can set those constraints. You can also do that in 3D. Hold your shift, against your control key, not your shift key. Hold your control key down to select multiple walls. And you can adjust those that way. Okay. So hopefully that helps. Okay, you won't have windows in your interior walls. That's an easy one. Okay, so windows are only on the exterior walls. And if we're placing a window, I'll place another window here to remind you what I said. When you're placing a window, you want to be on the inside of the wall. So here's the outside, and I'll get really close. See where the glass is going to be? If I pick the outside wall, that puts glass in the brick, and that's not possible. We can't do that. And so for all the windows, you pick the inside of the wall, and that will put them in the right orientation. Okay, so just always on the inside. Does that work, Will? Yeah, once you see it, it's like, well, that makes sense. I'm not going to put glass on brick. That brick can't hold up glass. Or vice versa. So yeah, it does make sense when you see it. But at first it's like, well, that looks good both ways. And it's a little harder to see if you're doing siding or stucco, but brick just kind of makes it easy to see it. And I try and put all the doors of one type in at a time. It makes it a little easier just to click around, and I come back and then I adjust them after I get them in place. Your space bar lets you flip things around. There's a closet door here. This one comes up. This is a closet. So yeah, you don't worry about being too exact today. I mean, you can come back and shift things. If you've got time, then by all means do that. But right now I'm just getting doors placed and in the right orientation. Remember, into the room and against a wall and 4 inches from the corner. Those are things you have to remember. And if you're using primarily one door size, it makes it all that much easier. Just makes it so much easier if you have a standard door size you use and you start propagating those in. Okay. I can write a door size, and I'm going to go this kind of large. If I have a 3-foot door, I can show it as 3 foot 0 inches by 6 foot 8 inches. That's one way of showing that. I can also show the exact same door by going 3, 0, 6, 8. That means it's 3 foot 0 inches wide, 6 foot 8 inches tall, without any feet and inch marks. I can also show that door by 3 foot 0 inches and 6 foot 8 inches. Same door, same width and height. The first set of numbers is always the width, second is always the height. And it just depends on what the office standard is for how that's shown. But a 3 foot 6'8" door is a standard door for an exterior. Don't worry about being fuzzy. I can fix that. I've got Photoshop. We can fix blurry. No worries. Thanks, Will. Okay, Grant, you're my favorite today. You ready? Okay. On your keyboard, up by the backspace button and next to the delete key, is a key that says PRTSC. That's for print screen. You press that button and you cancel out the save to OneNote. Microsoft's trying to take over the world and I can't do that right now. So let me do that. So I just close that out. Then you need to open up a Word document. Okay, and that's the tricky part. It's just a Word document. It's not that tricky, I guess. When you get that blank document open, all you have to do is right click and paste. And boom, there it is. You might want to turn your drawing layout so it's in landscape instead of paper portrait, so it fits the image better since you got widescreen monitors. But that is it. Simple, simple stuff. And that's probably the simplest way to do it for right now.